Roswitha prepared dinner with a secret in mind. 2 covered plates rested in her hands as she entered the room, her smile sweet but mischievous. She set one before Leon, her eyes glinting with playful intent. "Go on," she urged softly. Leon lifted the lid, expecting his favorite dish. Instead, he froze. The plate was piled high with carrots, steamed, roasted, even shredded into salad, his least favorite food. "What is this?" he muttered. Roswitha leaned closer, her tone dripping with mock innocence. "Vegetable salad. Just for you?" Tiger smiled at Charlotte, quietly signaling that she need not worry too much. He handed her a photo and said with a calm voice, "One good word alone isn't enough to describe his current life." Charlotte lowered her head and carefully took the photo. Her eyes softened as she studied it. It was a family portrait taken by Leon and Rosa in Sky City, a requirement for Noah's school enrollment. In the photo, Leon and Rosa wore formal clothes, smiling with confidence. In front of them stood Noah and Muan, dressed in matching colors, striking innocent and playful poses. Charlotte's lips curved into a gentle smile. Knowing Leon was living safely and happily, she felt at ease. Her gaze shifted, noticing Tiger walking toward the cave wall. She already guessed his next move. "Have you made up your mind?" she asked quietly. Tiger reached for the sword that rested against the stone. He stroked the blade before lifting it into his hand. It was black, with an orange gemstone embedded in the hilt. Under the pale moonlight, the gem shimmered faintly, marking this as no ordinary sword. With solemn eyes, Tiger declared, "It's time to wash away his traitor's label and restore his name. This will be my gift to my granddaughters." His deep blue eyes carried unwavering determination. 2 days later, Roswitha returned to the Silver Dragon Castle. It was evening. At dinner time, Leon brought Muan to the dining hall. But tonight, the cooking was not his duty. It was Roswitha's. After seating Leon and Muan, she disappeared into the kitchen. Leon rested his head on his hand, frowning slightly. Something about her behavior felt unusual. She had been gone for 2 full days without explanation, and now she suddenly wished to prepare dinner herself. He remembered asking Anna about her absence. Carrying a stack of books and documents, Anna had answered matter-of-factly, "Her Majesty is out on business." The memory only deepened Leon's unease. Soon, Roswitha returned from the kitchen, balancing 2 covered plates in her hands. A mysterious smile played across her lips as she set them down gently before Leon and Muan. The warm aroma of cooked food drifted through the air, teasing their senses. "All right," she said softly, her voice full of hidden amusement. "Let's enjoy dinner together." Muan was the first to reach for her plate. She lifted the iron lid with eager hands, and her eyes immediately sparkled with delight. Resting neatly on her plate was a perfectly cooked steak, seared to a golden brown and drizzled with rich brown sauce. "Wow!" Muan clasped her hands together in excitement. "Mom's steak looks delicious." Roswitha smiled warmly at her daughter's happiness. But when Leon removed the lid from his own plate, his expression froze. His fork hung loosely in his hand as his eyes widened. His dish was not a steak, nor even a mix of vegetables. It was a mountain of carrots stacked high. "What is this?" Leon asked, his voice full of disbelief. Roswitha leaned forward, her smile turning sharper, sweet yet mischievous. "Vegetable salad," she replied calmly. Inside, she couldn't help but laugh. Tiger had already told her one of Leon's greatest weaknesses, carrots. Now that she knew his secrets, she planned to use them, little by little, to tease and torment him. The very thought made her smile grow even wider. Leon narrowed his eyes. "There are only carrots here." "Correction," she replied calmly. "Carrot vegetable salad." Muan chewed happily, then tilted her head at her father. "Dad, don't you like carrots?" Leon stiffened, embarrassed to admit the truth. Carrots are just a bit... Roswitha folded her arms and shook her head. And what do you always tell Muan? A balanced diet, no being picky. So why won't you eat these now? Muan nodded in agreement. Yeah, Dad. You always look dizzy, so you can't be picky about food. Leon glared at Roswitha, his brows furrowed and jaw tense. He wanted to fight back with words, to say something sharp that could cut through her smug smile, but nothing came. His mind went blank, his pride cornered. With no other choice, he lowered his eyes, jabbed his fork into a lone carrot, and shoved it into his mouth with exaggerated defiance. I'm eating, he muttered through clenched teeth. See? I'm eating. The crunch of the carrot echoed louder than it should have. Each bite was dry, bitter, and unbearable, yet Leon forced himself to chew as if proving his courage in battle. Across the table, Roswitha's smile deepened into one of pure mischief. To her, this wasn't just about dinner, it was about victory. Watching Leon suffer while pretending to obey his own advice about balanced meals gave her no end of amusement. Leon's mind fumed. She must have found out my weakness. This is no coincidence. She's tormenting me on purpose. His eyes narrowed, but Roswitha's calm expression told him she was enjoying every second of his misery. Then, just as Leon tried to swallow his pride along with the carrot, Roswitha's tone suddenly shifted. She tilted her head gracefully, as though she had just remembered something trivial. Oh, by the way, she said casually, her voice smooth and sweet. I'll be sleeping in your room tonight. The words struck Leon like a bolt of lightning. His body stiffened, and the carrot he was chewing shot out as he coughed in shock. His fork clattered onto the plate, forgotten. He stared at her, wide-eyed, his mind spinning. He didn't need details. The tone of her voice, the glint in her eyes, everything told him exactly what she meant. Roswitha leaned back slightly, her smile innocent on the surface but laced with playful intent. Leon swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. Why now? What is she planning? One thing was certain. Whatever the Silver Dragon Queen had in mind, tonight would be anything but peaceful. Later, Roswitha bathed and changed into fresh pajamas. When she arrived at Leon's door, she knocked softly before stepping in. She wore a black silk nightgown that outlined her graceful figure. Her pale skin glowed against the dark fabric, and with each movement her form stirred faintly. Leon sat upright on the bed, a book held tightly in his hands. He tried to look calm, but the book betrayed him. It was upside down. When the door opened, his eyes flicked up, and there she was. You're here, he said, voice steady, though his throat felt dry. Roswitha caught the slip instantly. A smirk played across her lips, amused by his nervousness. He was always so easy to read, and tonight was no different. She crossed the room with quiet confidence, her presence filling the space before she even reached him. What's wrong? She asked, her voice smooth and teasing. Were you looking forward to it? Leon nearly dropped the book, fumbling before tossing it onto the table. His denial came too quickly, his cheeks betraying him. No! He snapped. Roswitha only smiled wider, enjoying his discomfort. She eased herself onto the bed beside him, the mattress dipping under her weight. The faint brush of her silk gown caught the candlelight, making her appear almost untouchable. Leaning closer, she patted the space gently, her gesture calm but commanding. Her whisper carried through the air like a secret meant only for him. Come on. The words struck harder than any playful tease. Leon's chest tightened, his breath caught in his throat. He could feel her presence pressing against his composure, daring him to respond. Tonight, he realized, would not pass quietly.